Is going on? Welcome to episode 47 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and my co-host on this one is Arekkz. How's it going, man?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Fighting a cold, but good. Can we just start off by saying, like, your beard is a glorious thing.
Thank you. I had to sacrifice this for the beard. So,
you sacrificed the top of the head.
This is what I always say. Like, people are like, how do I grow this? And I'm like, well, you have to sacrifice your hair to the beard gods first, and then now they've blessed me with this here beard.
So
kind of lucky, because if I didn't have a beard, like, I'd have nothing. I'd be like little kind of bald peanut. So I need it.
Peanut. Oh, I love it. Well, hey, before we get into this, if you guys are interested in getting a free book from Audible, you can go to audibletrial.com/NPC, and there you can get one of my favorite books at the moment, which is Super Mario, How Nintendo Conquered America. It's basically a history on Nintendo and really good stuff. And that's audibletrial.com/NPC. The chair I'm sitting in from OP Seat. If you go to opseat.com and use coupon code N64Josh, you can save yourself $10 off a seat. They're comfortable. They're affordable. I highly recommend them. So opseat.com, coupon code N64Josh. And lastly, if you're thinking about starting your own podcast, go to podbean.com/NPC. They're the company I use for all of the shows I do. And I've done a lot of shows on Podbean, so highly recommend them. Podbean.com/NPC. All right, I'm all done selling out. This is a special episode, guys. This is a Sunday morning, not the typical Powercast time, but Arekkz is from across the pond. So in order for us to not have to do this in like the middle of the night, we started at
I appreciate
9.
that.
Yeah, me too. You know, like it's like 5 p.m. for you, right? Somewhere around there, and
yeah, it's great. Yeah, I've done a few like 2-3 a.m. podcasts, and I can tell you that I do start to fall asleep during them. Yeah. I try my best, but I'm not a late or early morning late person. One of those ones, yeah. So no, this is a good time.
Well, let's. I want to know about you, man. But before, so, you know, and before we talk about your channel and all that stuff, like, I kind of want to just talk about your history with gaming, history with Nintendo. Sure. You know, so where did it all start? Like, what'd you cut your teeth on?
So, the first game I ever played was actually just before Nintendo. Was when I was much younger. I was on the Sega Master System. Started off with Arekkz Kid in Miracle World, because I've got an older brother, and he had the console, and I was basically 2 years old at the time, and he would let me sit there. Wasn't very good, obviously being 2, but I would just sit there with a control pad in my hand and be like, "Yeah, I'm playing this game. It's great." And then for quite a few years, he was, you know, it was him that had the console, so he went on to get an N64. So I then just followed in his footsteps. So I completely missed like the PS2 era and anything like that, because I went N64 to Gamecube to Wii. But yeah, for me, I'd say, like, even though Sega Master System is where I started, like, the proper games for me were Super Mario 64 and Ocarina of Time. They are like my kind of, I'm a gamer. I love Nintendo. And that kind of shaped my kind of direction going forward. Because yeah, I went on because then after the N64, I got myself a Game Boy Advance. Which was my first ever console that I physically owned. Then I got GameCube, and then went into Wii U. And it literally wasn't until PS3 that I actually started to branch out beyond Nintendo. And then shortly after PS3, I then went and got an Xbox 360. And then from that point onwards, I just buy all the consoles now. But yeah, I was for a long time just a Nintendo kid.
Interesting.
I think that's also why, like, you know, even to this day, like, you know, Nintendo like always has like a special place in my heart. You know, while I might on my channel cover, you know, predominantly like non-Nintendo stuff, it's like I will always, like, Nintendo is just like where I belong. Like, I'll always come back to it. It's where most of my favorite games are. You know, a lot of my favorite gaming experiences and my memories and stuff, they're all on Nintendo platforms. So yeah, that's me.
So what was it the games on the Wii that caused you to branch out, you think?
I think yeah, to a certain extent. Because I'm trying to remember because Wii launch was pretty slow, right? Because wasn't it? It launched with Twilight Princess, didn't it?
It did, yeah. The GameCube.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so it came out strong because that's why I bought it, because I was like, obviously huge Zelda fan. Like I played like all the Zelda games. I was like, I need to like, so I picked it up for that. But then after that, it was a little bit slow for a bit, and then that's when I had one of my friends at the time. He'd obviously always been, he grew up playing Nintendo and PlayStation, so he went PS1, PS2, PS3. So it was that time that I started. He was like, you should pick up PS3 and play games with me. So I kind of branched out. So yeah, I think it was definitely after Twilight Princess, the sort of slow period with the Wii that made me branch out, because I was like, I need to play something, right? I can't play Red Steel all day.
Red Steel.
That game was. I had so many high hopes for that as well. When I saw the trailers, I was like, this game's gonna be amazing. I want to walk around like a samurai and just be like, what's up? So no, it just really wasn't. It was not quite what I was hoping. So yeah.
Can't play Red Steel all day. More like can't play Red Steel all 10 minutes. Like
it's very true. It's very true. I kind of went in with my sort of like blinded vision to begin with. I was like, this game is awesome, and I had fun with it. And then I was like, no, what am I doing? Yeah. So that was probably the time. I think I then moved over and picked up like Assassin's Creed and Burnout to begin with on PS3, and then I think from that point onwards, I then just kind of like switched over. So it was Nintendo platforms then became more sort of the things that I would go to for like the core titles, So when like your Zelda, your Mario Kart, or your Mario, anything like that would drop, then I would kind of go back for that. But then obviously anything outside of that, I then started to kind of branch out elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean that kind of started to happen with the GameCube, right? And then the Wii almost like solidified that, because there was so much just shovelware that ended up on that system. It was like the best-selling system with very few, at least for Nintendo, but with very few games other than their handhelds. But
I love the GameCube though. I miss the GameCube. That was I guess because for me that was my first ever like home console. So that was like I got that as a special Christmas bundle as well, because I was asking for it when I was at Christmas time. I was asking my parents for it, and there was like a bundle in. Sorry, there's a plane flying over the top, by the way.
Hey, we do it live. It's all right.
There was this Christmas bundle, and they had like the GameCube with the Master Sword collection. So there was a little disc that had a demo of Wind Waker on. Also had Ocarina of Time, Master Quest, Majora's Mask, and I think it also had the original Zelda, and I think it also had it was like a mega disc with that. And so I got that, and that was a brilliant Christmas. I just went back through playing all those, and that's when I actually discovered Wind Waker. So I got into that kind of slightly later, but then love that, so good.
Yeah, man, the GameCube is probably one of my. It's up there with my top Nintendo systems because of just because of some of those titles, and like Metroid Prime and Mario Sunshine, that kind of stuff,
and Smash Bros as well. Yeah, right, and it also of course gave birth to like one of the best controllers
exactly
ever.
Yep.
So
yeah, for sure. So what would you say, like, let's go back to the 64 for a little bit. So what were some of your favorite titles? I mean, you mentioned Mario and Zelda. Were there other ones on there as well that you like, Mario Kart or GoldenEye, that kind of stuff?
So, I mean, Mario Kart definitely, GoldenEye for one, like that. So again, being my brother's console, like we used to play games a lot together, and I would lose a lot of the games. He was the older brother, so when we were playing like GoldenEye, I would just always lose that one. But I was the guy that went around as odd job, being like the short guy who would just try and be a pain when you're playing there. But we used to play like play facility, and it was like slaps only or karate chops. Good game, man. It was so good, right? So you run around as odd job like what? So that was good fun. Mario Kart was brilliant. Blast Core, do you remember that?
Oh yeah. It came out on the Rare Replay on the Xbox.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that game was so good. In fact, that was also one of like that one. And Donkey Kong 64. You know what? Like, it's funny when we talk, when I kind of talk about things like Mario 64 and Donkey Kong 64. It seems quite a dangerous thing to say, but I don't know. I feel like part of me prefers Donkey Kong 64.
Oh, tread lightly. Tread lightly.
Yeah, I'm like. Here's my justification, right? Super Mario 64 is an incredible game, and I love it. It's one of my all-time favorites. But as a kid, I was like, monkeys are my favorite animals, and I was like, well, Donkey Kong 64 is basically just like Mario 64 with monkeys. So I was like, what's not to like?
Right.
But no, I love both those ones. So yeah, so that one for sure. Perfect Dark, of course.
Yeah.
That again, obviously, that transitions nicely from GoldenEye, and I mean, so many games in that. But I think definitely like my highlight one had to be Ocarina of Time, because for a long time, following Ocarina of Time, literally up until Switch was my favorite game of all time, like ever. If anyone would ever ask from the moment I played it then for the next however many years, if anyone was ever like, what's your favorite game? It would just be instantly Ocarina of Time, no question, until Breath of the Wild came out.
Oh, it dethroned it, huh?
It did, because the thing is, it happened like every single Zelda game that released after that. It was always a case of, will it be Ocarina of Time? So, I played through loads of them. I mean, I love, and there's a lot of them that came really close. I really enjoyed Twilight Princess, but that was a little bit too easy, a little bit too short. So it doesn't quite have the same factor. And then Wind Waker came close again, but then each time there'd just be something that wasn't quite there. But then Breath of the Wild, when it came out, and I just because it was nice as well, because obviously since doing YouTube now, I experience games slightly differently, so I don't always get the chance to sit down like I did when I was a kid and just be like, I'm just going to play this all day. So Breath of the Wild, because it was so important to me, I was like, I'm going to enjoy this like I was a kid. So I took about 4 days off from making videos, just sat there in my pajamas all day playing it, and I literally had the best time I've had in a long time. And because I experienced it like that, I got to the end of it, and I was like, you know what? Sure, there are some things that Ocarina does, but like Ocarina still has like better music, and there are some, there's a few different things that like individually it might do. But then when I look at Breath of the Wild as a whole picture, I'm just like, you know what? This game is incredible, and for me, that is now my number one game, which is nice. It's nice finally to be able to sort of say that my favorite game of all time is something that is more current, because a lot of the time people's favorite games are just kind of steeped in nostalgia, right? So it's like, oh, it's a game that I played 20 years ago, and it might not actually be better than games that are right now, but just because you got that memory. So yeah, that was fun.
So we're gonna continue on this little rabbit trail for a second.
Yeah.
How does Odyssey compare against Breath of the Wild for you? Like, let's say even for like game of the year, do you think what?
So I mean, Odyssey is incredible, but for me, it still won't beat Breath of the Wild. I mean, like, it's a kind of a slightly biased thing, but because I'm such a huge Zelda fan, like, I love Mario, like, no questions asked, and like, it'll be a very close second. But I think because it's Breath of the Wild, and it's Zelda, it's always going to have that bonus point for me. If Zelda didn't come out this year, Mario Odyssey would be my game of the year, like hands down, no questions asked. But because Breath of the Wild is out, it's going to have to take second place for me. But it is incredible. It's nice to have another game that fits into that 64 Sunshine Galaxy sort of space. Like, I love Galaxy, but for me, Galaxy didn't quite match up to, say, 64 and Sunshine for me. So this is definitely the one. Like, the one. I've had so, I mean, like, I haven't had time to play it as I'd like. I've played through like the kind of golden line, got to the done the like sort of end mission, but now I'm kind of going back trying to sort of systematically collect moons so I can unlock the other two kingdoms. So there's still a lot more for me to do, but yeah, Odyssey is incredible.
Yeah, I'm in the place where I want to go back and play Breath of the Wild some more, like go back, do more shrines, that kind of stuff before I make that decision, because it wouldn't be quite fair right now because I'm riding that Mario Odyssey high. So, but we may be having a technical difficulty. He is frozen solid right now. Let's see. I'm going to stop the recording. All right, we're back. Cool. Who knows what happened? Discord just said, hey,
Yeah, sorry about that. It was really weird because my internet didn't even say that it had gone down. But yeah, Discord was just like, I don't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What was funny, the way you were staring so intently at me, the way you froze, that I was like, is he that interested in what I'm saying right now? Nope. He's gone. He's gone. So I'm not sure what you heard me say, but basically, like, I'm at the point that I want to go back and play Breath of the Wild some more.
Yeah.
And then really try to, look at both of them and decide which one's going to be game of the year.
Yeah, I mean, because I think for me, because I invested a lot of time into Breath of the Wild, so I went through, I've got all the shrines, and I was on the quest to getting all the Korok seeds. And then I kind of put it on the back burner for a bit, because obviously hard mode was coming out, and I wanted to I do want to do like 100% playthrough on that. I was a little bit kind of apprehensive at first, because at the time of doing it, there was no ability to back up your save file. And I was like, I don't really want to go for 100% if something happens, because I'm going to cry if I get 900 Korok seeds. So now that that's there, I might just do like because I want to go back to it. Like I wanted to stream the whole game, but again, timing and just didn't really work. So I might, when there's like a lull in gaming next time, I might try and do like a hard mode playthrough and just go ahead and blitz it all. But yeah, it's fair to want to kind of like, invest in equal time in both of them. But for me, yeah, there's no. I submitted my golden joystick submissions, and it was all like Zelda, Zelda, Zelda.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah.
Cool. I think one of the things that excites me the most is that we are getting we've gotten 2 Nintendo games from Nintendo this year that are both even in talks, that are like at the top of the list for Game of the Year, but so many other games from them as well. Like, even to hear you say like Breath of the Wild is now my new favorite Zelda game. How many generations has that taken for that to be the case, right? From Ocarina till now. And so, and especially with older IP. I mean, you don't get much older IP than
exactly right. Yeah,
than Zelda, and they're still keeping it. They're still keeping it fresh. They're trying new things, and it's paying off. It's paying off huge.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just incredibly impressed with just Switch like year one as a whole. I mean, because you look back at like any other launch for any console really, and like typically launch year is never the strongest point, right? They might try and launch with a couple of decent games, and then like later in the year you might have a couple of other things. But generally speaking, after the console, you're kind of used to the fact that the console will come out and then things are slow for a little bit, right? But Switch has just been practically every month there's been something. We went from Zelda into Mario Kart, and sure, Mario Kart is a re-release, but it was still great. I mean, it's an incredible game, and it's a game that I wanted to have on the Switch anyway, and to kind of like bring it back into the deluxe package was great. We went from that into like ARMS, we had Splatoon, we've obviously had Mario, and in between that we've had a few other, there's plenty of like great support on the eShop as well, and knowing that we've got Xenoblade at the end of the year. I mean, it's been like, as far as my memory can go, probably one of the best console launches I can remember, like as the year goes.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree. I mean, I mean, thinking back on just even the Xbox One and the PS4, it was kind of a ghost town. I mean, systems. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I picked up mine. Like, there were a couple of solid games to begin with, and I didn't really play it much beyond that point for a while. So yeah, I think it's and the nice thing as well is, I mean, there's so much stuff that they're still potentially hinting at. I mean, like for example, a couple of things that are like massively on my radar are the hints that keep coming from Cameo, like Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta. Like, I'm massive fans of like both those games, but Wonderful 101 specifically, I really want that to come to Switch, because that was an incredible game on Wii U. But it didn't get the attention it deserved because, let's be honest, it was just on the Wii U, right? A lot of people weren't going to try it. If that comes to Switch, that game is so good. So, and like, I mean, there's some art for it, and like Cameo's been tweeting, like kind of Surface has been tweeting and whatnot. So, and I think a lot of those things like that, they're probably just banking them, because if they can replicate what they did last year, next year, they could go into January and be like, all right, new direct. By the way, Bayonetta 1 and 2 are coming. Wonderful 101's coming. Oh, by the way, we've also got Smash Brothers, like Smash Brothers Deluxe. Like, I think that's going to happen. I mean, the fact that you've got the GameCube controller support, the fact that, I mean, I think it was 2 directs ago, Smash Brothers was in the tags anyway. So it's obviously there somewhere. And again, it's a clever strategy, right? It just means that if they can dip back into some of the solid games from Wii U that just didn't kind of get the appreciation they deserved and re-release them again, they're good ways to tide over until we get hear more about Metroid, or till we hear like new game stuff. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and I mean, hopefully we see like Mario Maker. Like
that needs to happen. That needs to happen.
Yeah, that needs to get on the system. And I mean, the problem with the Wii U was that, one, not that many people had it. But
exactly, yeah.
Like we talked about a little bit ago, the Wii had kind of solidified in Nintendo fans' minds, like, I'm only buying Nintendo games on a Nintendo system. And it was very unfortunate for any third parties on the Wii, because nothing sold very well. And but games like I even saw like his name's Amiibo Jason, and he just picked up Doom, and he's like, I need Bayonetta on the Switch. Like, it needs to be here. And I mean, I'm all for it. Like, the Switch allows me to play games far more than I was able to on the Wii U because of being able to take it on the go. Right?
Exactly. I mean, it's literally like the perfect console for me. I think that's why, like, I love it so much, because it's a funny thing. Like, I always feel weird saying this because if someone's like, "Oh, what's your favorite console?" It feels strange to say this when the console hasn't even been out a year. But I honestly feel like the Switch is now my favorite game console as well, because I've always been a fan of portable gaming, but also home console. So the fact that I can get both of those out my Nintendo Switch, like I've growing up as a Nintendo kid, I've always had an appreciation for gameplay first, graphics later. Like I'm not really a graphics guy, so like I'm not worried that it's not always like 1080p 60 or this, that, or anything like that. I'm just like, it's solid games that I can play anywhere. So yeah, it's definitely. I think that's gonna. I think it's. I mean, to that point as well. Like you were talking about, like Bayonetta. I mean, I bought Bayonetta 2, and it's still in the cellophane because I never got around to playing it on Wii U. Like, I wanted to play. I played through number 1, loved it.
Yeah.
But there's just. I mean, like another one as well. I mean, they just released Fire Emblem Warriors. I would love them to re-release Hyrule Warriors because again, I bought that in the cellophane. Still never had a chance to play it.
You're a man after my own heart. I gotta tell you, I have a lot of games that I buy and never play.
I know, right? Well, because thing is, like, because sometimes it's the collectors. Like, I bought the they got remember like for a while for the Wii U they had those big square boxes for some of them where they would like you have the disc in the back and you have like something in the front. So I bought the Mario Kart version of that came with the blue shell. I bought the Hyrule Warriors one that came with the scarf, and I bought the Bayonetta one. But none of them I played. Yeah, it's just terrible.
Yeah, that blue shell never came to the States. I'm still sad about that. So
really,
yeah. Oh no, I'm sorry. It did, but my gosh, I'm super jealous right now. It did, but it was a special edition of the game that you could only pick up at the Nintendo World Store.
Oh no way!
That was it. So, so it goes for close to $1,000 on eBay. I looked at it not too long ago and was like, whoa, that's not cheap. So I've never played Bayonetta 2 either, because when I bought that disc, it had 1 in it. So I'm like, well, I'm going to start this first. So I got like a couple hours in on 1.
Fair.
And then never got back. And Kirby Geek in my chat is going to start losing it because every time I say I haven't played a game, she's always like, why am I here? I'm leaving. I can't handle this. So.
Oh, amazing.
See, y'all are killing me never playing Bayo 2.
Don't worry. We've just been waiting until it's out on Switch. We're going to play it on Switch. Just
patiently waiting. So
I know, right?
Okay, so we totally went down a rabbit trail, but I'm glad it was a good time.
Yeah.
So, and you answered this question of what your favorite Nintendo console was. You said the Switch. What was it before that?
I feel like it would have been the 3DS because, like, again, like loving portable gaming, like, I've got a lot of time in 3DS. And, I mean, for example, as a Monster Hunter fan, I just sunk thousands of hours into it. Yeah. So I think it probably would have to be 3DS. And probably if I had to look towards like home console, then it would probably be like N64 or something like that. But yeah. I think prior to Switch, my 3DS basically went everywhere with me. Like I would just take it if I was going on trips or traveling and stuff. It would just go in my bag. I think I've had like 6-7 3DSs or something like that. So
one of the guys in the Discord is actually getting a 3DS. I don't know if he had one before or whatever, but he's always asking like, what are some of the games I should get? So what 3DS games would you recommend if you were new to the system?
So 100% Monster Hunter, either Generations or 4 Ultimate.
Okay.
Both of them are incredible games. Generations is the newer one, probably slightly easier to get into, but doesn't have as much of a story. Mm-hmm. 4 Ultimate is made by what they call like the main team, and if you were going to play like World, is probably like the closest comparison to that, but it's slightly older. I would say definitely. What's the name of it? The newest Zelda game on 3DS.
Link to the Past.
Is it? Oh no, Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds. I mean, and then the newest one is like the like.
I really like Triforce Heroes. I love that game. I really like that. I had a lot of fun playing that. Like, a lot of people gave it some hate, but you know what? I really, really like that one. It's definitely like if you haven't played a Zelda game before, it's not a true Zelda experience. It's not what you would typically experience from a Zelda game. But yeah, definitely. I'd say Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes. I would say. One of the Monster Hunter games, definitely a Pokemon, without a doubt.
Yeah.
And I'd say that's a good place to kind of get yourself started. There's obviously plenty more games on there.
Animal Crossing.
Hey, me and Animal Crossing don't get on too well. I feel like I'm going to have some fighting words with some people in your chat. I do apologize in advance. So here, allow me to tell you my Animal Crossing tale. You see, so I for the first time picked it up on 3DS because people were like, "Oh, Animal Crossing is so good, you should play it." So I picked it up. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'll listen to some recommendations. I started playing it. I started enjoying it. I started really getting into it, and then at one moment, I just had this point of realization where I was like, I'm basically just doing chores. I'm like, why am I going around cleaning up this village, dealing with these rude, annoying villagers that I don't even want here? I was like, you know what? I've had it, and I'm going to stop cleaning up their town. And I just stopped all my jobs, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to come back in like 3 months, and hopefully it'll be like a barren wasteland and nothing but skeletons of all the little villagers. And from that point onwards, I was like, you know what? I hate Animal Crossing. I'm not going to play it. So, so I hate to break it to you. I mean, I would play it on Switch. I would completely sell out and be like, you know what? I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I'll play it. But I would also complain every minute of it as well.
Oh, hey, you got it like ages 90 or 8. I'm jeez. My copy hasn't set in. I thought it said ages. I'm 8. I don't even know how to say it, but they agree. It's the same.
Nice. There we go. There we go. See. Just fish is all you need to do. No.
Yeah, that's the dude. Video game fishing, like Ocarina, man. I would sit there forever just fishing. Like
that's sinking lure, right?
Yeah. But I do have to go back. I said Link to the Past as the newest Zelda. I'm like not even halfway through my first cup of coffee, so please, guys, just forgive me. I do know when games came out most of the time. I just haven't played them. That's all. I probably bought them, just haven't played them. So
yeah, still in cellophane.
Well, that's cool, man. That's cool. I want to get into your channel and I'm curious about like the history of your channel and just some of the steps you took to get to where you are now. Over 500,000 subs. I mean, that's no small feat, man. That's very impressive. So, what got you started with YouTube? So,
so I run the channel with my friend. My friend is the one that got it started. So it's myself and 269. We both used to work at Microsoft, and basically while we were there, like at one point, 26 was just like, we should start a YouTube channel. They had a games library. We could just borrow games for free, and we're like, let's just mess around with it and see what's going on. So to begin with, like the first year was very sort of experimental. Like that was back before like I was kind of a sort of a much more shy person then, so I didn't really like talking on camera or anything like that. So we basically used to upload like raw gameplay. So I think, funnily enough, one of our most successful videos when we started was, do you remember a game called Asura's Wrath?
Nope.
Okay, so I mean, obviously it wasn't a Nintendo game, but it was really like it's basically like a kind of hacker / button mashing kind of game sort of thing, but it was done in such a way where each of the chapters is like a 20-minute episode. It kind of feels like watching an anime. It was like over the top, really, really cool, amazing game. I just uploaded an entire raw playthrough for that, and like people were just like years later, people were still watching it. Most of those episodes got like hundreds of thousands of views, and this was just a brand new channel. It was a tiny channel, but people were just watching it because I think literally the way you could enjoy the game was just like you could sit down and literally watch it like anime. So I started doing that, and then I imported a PS Vita from Japan and started sort of doing some videos then. And that was before I could even record directly. So that was like really old school. I had a camera tripod pointed at the screen, holding it in a really awkward angle, like don't twist it too much, and then trying to sort of like turn the lights off so the screen was nice and bright. And obviously because it was an OLED, I could kind of get away with that. So that's what we started. And, that was definitely like the sort of first year, but I was definitely in that sort of experimental phase where I wasn't really sure whether I enjoyed YouTube or anything like that. But we kept it going. And then after say sort of like, the first 6-12 months, I started to kind of, find my feet and whatnot. And then I actually moved over because when we started, both myself and 26 were game testers at Microsoft. So we were working on Forza Horizon. And then when Xbox One was kind of like being developed, I moved over to their London studio to work on their video platform Upload. So it's basically kind of because I was doing YouTube at the time, and they were like, we want someone that kind of does video stuff. So I moved over there and started doing like a lot of like community building, account management, and just like video production there. And then that kind of when I did that, I think it was that moment that like YouTube really clicked for me, because then I started to properly kind of like see video in a different light. Because not only was it my job at Microsoft, but it was also like I had just a different appreciation for it. And then from that point onwards, that's kind of the way I'd say that the channel started to properly grow. But even then, it was still something we ran in the background because we both had full-time jobs, So it was very much like that. And then fast forward like 18 months, and then unfortunately I got made redundant at Microsoft. They were doing some shifts around. They were like, we just, thanks for your work, but we don't really need you anymore. And just decided to try and take a gamble. Like at that point, 26 was still at Microsoft for like another 6 months, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take a risk, take a year out, just try and go full time. And then I set we set a rough goal for the end of the year. We're like, if we can try and hit that, that'll be the point where we can agree and say we're going to make this work. And if we don't hit that, then I'll go back and get a job. And then luckily, it did work out. We hit I think because I went full time, which was a crazy thing. I would never recommend anyone does this, but I went full time on about 44,000 subscribers, which at the time was a bit kind of, we weren't really sort of too sure. There wasn't really a stable base in the channel, so it was a bit of a risky thing to do. But having worked at Microsoft, I had a baseline that I could afford to be a bit risky with. So did that, and then luckily managed to sort of hit 100k subs by the end of the year. And then we're like, this is a base we can build off of. And then 26 left Microsoft as well. We then kind of started working it together, and then the rest is kind of history, so to speak. But I'm really glad I did it that way though, because it gave me such a better understanding when it comes to working with developers and publishers, because obviously having done that at Microsoft and working with them, it just means that, I had an insight into the business. I understood the process, and then it meant that, when I went to work on YouTube and I wanted to kind of go back to people and be like, look, this is what I'm doing now, let me work with you guys, then it just made it a lot easier. So that's kind of where it is now. So so fast forward to now, it's still both myself and 269. 26 streams a lot more. So he streams over on Twitch a lot, 6 days a week basically, and I then predominantly make the videos, and then that's sort of our setup.
That's awesome, dude. That is freaking awesome. Like I love hearing that. What was going through your head when Microsoft's like, hey, sorry, was there the initial panic of, oh, I just got let go, or were you like, I'm ready to jump in both feet? And
I don't think I minded too much. I think because we had the channel, right? I think in the back of our minds, both myself and 26, we were always like, we want to build something that we can do ourselves. That doesn't mean we have to work for someone, right? And I think it was always in the back of our mind. But when you work for a company like Microsoft, it's a good company, it's a good job. I was never going to take that risk myself. I was never going to have my notice in one day and say, guys, I quit, I'm going to go and do YouTube full time, because quite frankly I wasn't brave enough. So I was almost kind of grateful when it happened, because it gave me the kick that I needed. It was like, this is your chance to try this, because otherwise I wouldn't have done it. If that didn't happen and I wasn't made redundant, I might still be working at Microsoft and just slowly growing the channel in the background. So I think because of the YouTube stuff, I think I kind of welcomed it. If I hadn't done YouTube and then I was made redundant, then I'd be like, crap, what do I do next? So, right. I think we actually kind of, it was welcome.
So it's literally one of those circumstances where getting let go is one of the best things for you.
100%, yeah. Literally, yeah. I look back now and I'm just like, the stuff that I'm able to do now, the places I've been, the stuff that I've covered, they're just being able to, even though there's still a long way for me to go before it's kind of where I feel like I'm truly comfortable where I want it to be, but to know that we've built something that is our own, we work for ourselves. There is no apart from technically speaking, you could say YouTube is everyone's boss, right? Because they control the algorithm. But largely, we do what we want, right? And it's just nice being able to know that. You do find that when you work for yourself, you work more. So I basically work 7 days a week. I shouldn't do. I am trying to claw back weekends and just make sure that I cover stuff. But still, I live by the motto of work now, so I don't have to work later. That's what I'm trying to what I try to push towards. But no, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, the old saying goes, entrepreneurs will work 80 hours a week to avoid working 40 hours a week, for someone else, basically. So, and that, hey, but if you're doing something you love, it doesn't always feel like work, right?
Exactly. Yeah. There's definitely no, to anyone that wants to kind of get into YouTube, there are definitely times where it definitely feels like work, when things get super busy and there's just so much stuff going on. You just can't I don't know, see the wood for the trees, and you can't kind of think about how you can, because I cover so many different games, for example, the times when it gets tough is when everything's happening at once. There might be I've had situations where on the same day it'll be a Monster Hunter trailer drops, there's some Destiny news that drops, there's a Division trailer, there's an update for Overwatch, and I'm just like, what am I supposed to do? And there are times like that when you're just like, Holy, I can't, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But
yeah, get the coffee going,
yeah,
because it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, I live on a lot of coffee, but yeah, but I think, but yeah, largely you don't, like, you take a step back and you're like, you know what, this is, yeah, it's great being able to do it. And you do enjoy it. You know, it is something that I love doing. I get to work with games, work with like different developers and publishers as well. So it's nice just being able to kind of go out and check out things, and yeah, so I wouldn't have it any other way.
Drummer in my chat says, yeah, Josh, he's trying to have weekends off. Good going.
Hey, no, this is fun. This is fun. This isn't work. This isn't.
Oh man. So, what do you think? What has helped you get to the size that you are? The over 500,000 subs. Like what? I mean, obviously, there's not like a magic formula, but like,
no.
What are some of the steps you feel like you took to get to this point?
So I think there are a few switches. So like I look back to sort of when we first started, when I was kind of unsure about YouTube. There was no schedule to what we did. Like we would just upload. Like sometimes I would upload 2 or 3 videos a week. Sometimes I wouldn't upload a video for a week. Sometimes I'd just do whatever. Whereas I think the real turning point for the channel, the first turning point, was Destiny. Destiny was when that came out. That was the point where the channel. We made a switch to daily. We made a switch to daily videos. So like, regardless, like when we started covering Destiny, which I think we started a little bit before the alpha, so like kind of a couple months before the alpha, something like that. So when that happened, we started churning out. Like even though we were at Microsoft, like that was the tough part, because when I was doing the stuff at Upload, it wasn't a normal working day. Like I would work probably. I'd get into the office at like 8 a.m. I'd often leave at like 10 o'clock at night, and I'd still go home and make a daily video. And like that was the real grind. But then I think that when that was happening. That was a real shift for us, because we got to this point where there was a schedule. People knew they could come back on a daily basis. There was going to be a new video. And then there was so much interest at that time with Destiny that we were able to kind of like, you know, we established ourselves as a Destiny channel for quite some time. And we then, you know, that helped us grow. We did that from the alpha into the beta, into launch. And for a good long while, that heavily built. And it was at that point we started kind of thinking, you know what we're going to do? We're going to start like adding staple games. So like among the channel, we cover, a large portion of games, and you know when games come out, we'll do Nintendo games, we'll do like new games whenever they come out. But there are 3 games that are basically there week in, week out, no matter what. And they are Destiny, Monster Hunter, and Division. Division's a little bit slow right now because of course where it is, and the nature of the staple titles, sometimes they'll go in flux. But yeah, so when Destiny sort of 1 was in its sort of first lull, we started introducing more Monster Hunter content, because we actually did Monster Hunter before Destiny came out. I covered 3 Ultimate, but back then that was in my sort of learning YouTube phase, so I wasn't really. I prefer not to talk about those ones because they're on the channel, but those tutorials are not very good. I didn't do my research. There's some incorrect information in there, so it wasn't too great. But yeah, so we did that, and then Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate came out, so I then made a lot of content for that as well, and that being quite niche. It's very difficult to record 3DS gameplay. I bought the modded 3DS so I could do that. So in itself, it was already, there weren't many people covering it. So we did, so we covered that. And then obviously when Division came out, that was our next big spike, because we covered Division. That was a big one. We covered that probably about a year and a half before the game came out. So, any news, any trailers, any kind of theories, speculation, just sort of carried with that, and that went into launch, and of course the game then was massive to begin with. So they were probably our 3 big spikes. It was literally, it was definitely sort of initial Destiny wave, continual Monster Hunter coverage, into Division, and then from that point we sort of tried to make a bigger effort to clearly diversify, because by doing that we established these sort of like 3 groups on our channel. There were people that were just there for Monster Hunter, people that were just there for Destiny, and I think people now have a much greater understanding that we are a gaming channel, and that while we do have a lot of content for those games, people now, like, if I throw up a Mario video, if I throw up a Zelda video, people aren't going to be like, where's my Destiny video? They're just going to be like, all right, it's a new thing. And then from that point onwards, it's just consistency. It's just down to, we have sort of dialed back a little bit more recently, because there was probably for about 2 years solid, we did daily videos and just didn't really miss a beat. And then beginning of this year, we kind of reassessed a little bit, and we're like, we're only going to do daily videos if it makes sense. I don't ever want to upload a video just for the sake of hitting daily. Like if suddenly there's not something to talk about, I'm not going to upload a video. But yeah, I think they were the main things. It was definitely finding a schedule, sticking to it, finding games that work for you, and just sort of trying to like integrate yourself in there, and just trying to provide something that not necessarily everyone else does.
I gotta say from the chat here, Kukachu says your Monster Hunter videos at Arekkz Gaming, you've made me and my wife super hyped for it.
Yes, I see. The world is going to be so good, so good.
Yeah. So, and Monster Hunter is a series I play with my son. Like, he loves it.
Nice.
We bought 2 Wii U's to be able to play online together. Amazing. And for Monster Hunter 3, and then he has a Switch, and I see him with his new 2DS playing Monster Hunter more often than
really.
Yeah, that's just he loves that series. The problem is he's always way further along than me. So like, I'm like, hey, let's go hunt something. He's like, Dad, I can kill that in like 3 hits. Like, what? Yeah, I'm like, sweet. So let's get me some good armor, Yeah,
let's do it. Let's do it.
But I think I love hearing what you were saying about how you stayed diverse enough in your channel that your audience knew that they could expect different games. And I see in the Destiny community a lot, people like, if they go to cover something else, the comments they get on their videos are so harsh and so like, this isn't Destiny. What are you doing? I'm unsubscribing, and
it is a struggle. It's something that's always baffled me as well. I mean, like, I know different people consume content in different ways. My mindset, like, if I subscribe to someone for Destiny and they upload a different video, I would never, like, if it doesn't interest me, I just quite simply wouldn't watch it. I don't. There's this weird subset of people that will actively get angered by seeing something that they're not used to, and they're like, I'm going to go to the comments and tell people that this is not a Destiny video, this is simply unacceptable, and it's like, we don't need that. But I mean, I do know, because I know a lot of the Destiny guys, and during like the Destiny downtime, they did want to kind of jump, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're all gamers, right? They do play other games.
Exactly.
They might only cover one game, but if they want to do that, it is hard for them. So I'm definitely like, I couldn't be a single game channel. Let's be honest, even if it's my favorite game, like, I couldn't cover one game only, because I would just go insane. Like, I like to be able to jump between games, and knowing that we can kind of share that with the audience is great.
Yeah. We got a question from Deathless Poet. Says, which console will you be playing Monster Hunter World on?
Predominantly PS4 to begin with, because Sony do have the exclusive on it. So there'll be a few. I think they're going to be like for example, the Aloy quest they showed, that will be like exclusive to PlayStation. So I think there'll be like some additional DLC. So yeah, I'll start off on PS4. I might go to Xbox at some point, and then when it comes out on PC. But yeah, I'll definitely start on PS4.
Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, let's see. Next question I have here is, what have been some of the coolest opportunities that have come about because of your channel?
I think it's definitely got to be.
I can answer one for you. I think you won the internet when they gave you the axe at Bungie up in the mountains and took that picture, dude. I was like, this is the coolest guy. Period. Like, that axe, that beard. It was made, right? Game over. It's game over.
Yeah, I mean that's. I was actually going to say that's probably got to be one of the best trips, because sometimes like a lot of these press trips, they're really good, but sometimes they're very, very intense. It's like, you land, you go to the venue, you do what you need to do, you head back out. Like, there's literally no downtime. The Rise of Iron was like a really great trip, because they flew us in like 2 days early. So we just had like a cabin up in like the mountains, and we had like basically just a day and a half just to chill. So we just sat by the pool, just like drinking champagne in the cabins, and then went up the mountain and posed with the axe, and that was incredible. And then we went to Bungie to do the recording, and then came back. So I think the Rise of Iron trip was definitely one of them. Also, the most recent trip I did when I went to Osaka, Japan, for Monster Hunter World, because I mean, I love going to Japan anyway. Like, I go there quite a lot. I think this was like my 6th or 7th trip. And like, obviously, as a huge Monster Hunter fan, being able to sit down with the developers, like, I've met them in passing in like previous events. Like, I've gone to E3, I've gone to like Gamescom and had a quick interview with them. But in like an interview situation, you never really get to like sit down and properly chat to them. But when I was there for 2 days solid playing, and like the developers just standing behind you, just chatting, and then we went out for dinner in the evening and went out to like karaoke and stuff, and like really just sat down and played with them. It was just so nice to sort of like see the other side to them, like, because when they're in interviews, they're very kind of on brand, right? But when you're out just like drinking and just having food, they're just humans, right? And it was just so nice to be like connect with them and do that, and obviously being in Japan as well. So I definitely say those two are probably two of my highlight trips. But there've been some other pretty cool things. I mean, like when earlier this year, there was like a kind of a local trip for like Sniper Elite. So they took us down to like a gun range, got us to fire some sniper rifles into silicon heads, and then they used the slow motion cameras to try and replicate that. So that was kind of fun.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
In fact, the funny thing about that one was that they did it because they got the head. They got food coloring in it, they record that, and this is the first time I'd ever shot a sniper, and I got like a really lucky shot and got it straight through the head. And then at the end of the day, they were like, "Oh, do you want to take the head home?" And they gave it to me in a black plastic bag. I was like, "Sure, I'll carry it home." And then like realized once I did, they were like, "You don't want to keep this for too long, by the way." So I got home and it was like, I should probably put this in the bin. Thinking to myself, what happens when the dustbin man turns up and goes to get this out of the bin? And there's a head with a bullet hole in it. Like, they're gonna be some questions here. So, yeah, that was.
Did you turn on Dexter at that point? And you're like, okay, what can I do here? Like, did you just tie a cinder block to it and throw it in the water? Or
imagine that! Oh my goodness, that would have been. Whew, that would have been crazy.
Oh, that got dark quick. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
So, what advice would you give aspiring YouTubers, content creators trying to get into this?
I would say, first things first, don't pay attention to numbers to begin with, because like numbers, this is the biggest thing that hurts a lot of people. They start out, they'll look at their favorite YouTuber, they'll look at someone else, and they'll be like, I can do this, I want to do this. And they'll make a video, and sometimes I've seen so many people that are like new channels that make incredible content, but they'll make the video and it'll get 2 views, 5 views, 10 views, and they'll just be like, "What am I doing wrong?" And it's like, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that you need to realize that in order to get to a point where you're getting the views, it just takes time. Like YouTube is a grind. Everyone talks about the grind, and it literally is like your first year on YouTube. Don't even think about numbers. Like if you're there, I mean, if you're there for the right reason, if you do YouTube because you enjoy it, then you're already on the right path. If you're there because you're like, oh, I want to turn this into a job, and you're instantly thinking about numbers, it's going to be a very slippery slope. Because yeah, your first year is brutal. Whether, I mean, the same thing is for like Twitch, right? You know, your first 3-6 months, you know, you might be streaming to 2 or 3 people, right? And it's going to be a while before you before you get somewhere. So it's definitely going to gotta like put that to one side. I would say try and upload content to some kind of schedule. It doesn't have to be daily. Like daily is an option, but if people have jobs and they do have other things like that, it doesn't always have to be like that. But you need to realize that people consume content on YouTube kind of like TV, right? So if they know that you upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like at 5 p.m. at a certain time, they can then start to connect with that, and they can be like, all right, I'll check back. You know, it doesn't matter if you're not daily, but at least you're uploading to a regular cadence. So then you need to make sure that other things are in line. Like, you know, you've got good thumbnails, because, you know, if people just upload just with like raw gameplay thumbnails, it's not very like, you don't want to click on it, right? So thumbnails need to make you want to click on the video. You got to make sure your titles are good. Tags are something that people often don't realize. Like, you know, tags are incredibly important, and they control how your video is in search. You need to make sure you're tagging things properly. But I definitely say one of the biggest things is just to try and build up like a schedule. Like, pick a game that works for you. Don't look and think, all right, Destiny's a massively popular game, I'm going to cover Destiny, even if you're not like hugely into Destiny. You got to find a game that you're passionate about. It might be a niche game, and sometimes that actually works in your favor. Sometimes niche games don't have, I mean, to a certain extent, that happened with me with Monster Hunter. Like, there aren't too many people that cover Monster Hunter, partly because it was so hard to cover it because it was on 3DS. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can build things around that. But you just find a game that you're passionate about, try and upload content to some sort of schedule, and then just keep it going. And gradually, you will see results. They will be slow, like, as you know, without a doubt. Your first year will be like terribly slow. Like, it's the way on YouTube is like getting to your first 1,000 subscribers is a very slow process. Then after that, your next kind of big hurdle is like 10,000 subscribers, and after that, you'll see some like. You'll probably get to say 20, 30,000 subscribers like a lot faster. And then, you know, you hit different kind of like milestones. But yeah, the initial grind is slow. But if you can kind of get there, then, and you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it because you're passionate, then, you know, you should be able to succeed.
Can you break down tags real quick? Like just a little, you know, just a little pointer for tags.
So tags. So the main thing about tags is like you have, every sort of like individual word in there like is something that YouTube can search for, right? So and you need to also remember that like the order in which you tag things is important. So a lot of people, I'll see them like if they do like a Mario game, they might put their channel name in first. They'll be like, all right, my channel's like Bob Does Gaming, right? And then it'll be like, oh, Nintendo Switch, or things like that. And then, but you need to think about what's most important. Effectively, your tags need to encapsulate what people are going to search, right? So if you're going to search for like Mario Odyssey gameplay, Mario Odyssey tutorials, Mario Odyssey walkthrough, these are the sort of things you want to try and capture in your tags, because essentially anything that someone can type into the search bar, if that correlates with your tags, you have a better chance of it showing up.
Okay. All right. That's good. So yeah, do tags affect, like, let's say somebody is covering Monster Hunter, would it benefit them at all to put your name in their tags? Would their videos show up?
I mean, technically speaking, yes, because if you are known for that, it's a bit of a shady practice. I mean, you can like, I've seen some people do it before. Like you typically don't want to get into that, because if you're tagging with someone, because if you tag with something that isn't actually in the content, like, then I think that is actually against like YouTube terms of service. But technically speaking, if that person is known for that content and it appeared in your tags, there is a chance you could do that. But you tend to want to try and avoid that kind of stuff. Just try and be a little bit more broad. Just try and make sure that you can kind of think about what people are searching for and try and make sure that is in some way linked to your tags. Then you have a little bit more discoverability. But even so, early on, discoverability is also partly tied to the size of your channel, and of course, or the kind of the quantity of views and things like that. So even well tagged to begin with, you still might be a few pages deep. But obviously, as you kind of get that regular cadence, because other things as well, like YouTube as a platform, YouTube, like it's something that people kind of complain about, but you'll notice like a lot of channels make 10-minute videos, and there's a very important reason for that. And it's not, believe it or not, it's not actually just because people want to get ad money. It's actually because YouTube, the algorithm, rewards people for keeping you on the platform. So if I make a longer video, YouTube is basically like, oh, by watching his video, he's kept that person on the platform for 10 minutes. They're in the YouTube space for 10 minutes. Whereas if someone else makes like a 2-minute video, then you're only holding them on YouTube for 2 minutes, right? So, and then as a result, people like YouTube rewards that. So that's partly why people made a shift for long form videos. It's actually because it also means your videos will be, more discoverable as a result. So there's a lot of things like, that's one of the difficult things with YouTube. And you'll often find if you're starting out, YouTube can change their algorithm like that, right? And if they do it, then they're not going to tell you. They're not going to send out a value videos. They'll just change it, and you'll just have to. One day, your videos might just suddenly start tanking. You'll be like, "What's gone wrong?" And it's down to you to find out. So
I see.
That's yeah.
Okay, so the other question I have, which is not in the notes here, but scripts. I've started doing game reviews, and instead of just trying to record gameplay and then just kind of talk over it, I'm spending 3-4 hours sometimes writing up a full-on review and then reading that review for about 10 minutes on the video, and I've seen way more success than any of these just like talking over. Do you script a lot of stuff that you do?
I do, yeah. I mean, I script like half of my video content, and it's a very good thing to do, because you'll find that you can convey your thoughts a lot better, especially if it's a review. You want to make sure you're hitting all the important points, and plus if you tend to do it off the top of your head, like off the cuff, there are some people I know that do that, and it can be great if you can do it. But the problem with that is that you'll often repeat yourself, or you'll go over things again, or you might miss things. One of the biggest things I would say, like in a review, is that you can be like, all right, I need to make sure I talk about the gameplay, the graphics, the audio, and you can make sure you chunk it out. But for me, if I'm going to do like an informative video, if I'm going to do like a video about like a very particular topic, or if like a game comes out and I want to hit certain beats or something like that, I will always script it. If I'm doing a video that is like, for example, some of my Destiny ones, like the Zur video or the Reset video, that I don't need to script, because it's just off the cuff. It's just like, here's where you can find Zur, here's what you got for sale. I already know about the weapons, so I can just do all that quickly. And some of the Monster Hunter stuff, like if I was just doing like commentary over like a Monster Hunt, I can kind of just talk passively about what's going on. But yeah, if I want to talk about something very particular, I will script it.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean it. As far as script writing goes, like I said, I'm just basically writing up my review. Do you have any pointers just on the script writing? Like, I don't. I think it really depends from different people. I'm not a writer. Like I at school, I never really particularly liked writing essays or anything like that. I wouldn't say my scripts are particularly complicated or anything like that. I write my scripts as I would talk in real life. So I don't do anything different. I just make sure, like, literally the only reason I write scripts is to make sure that I am hitting the points that I want to hit. So like, in the purpose of your review, I wouldn't say that this is how you should write your scripts. I'd just be like, write your scripts how you speak, but just make sure that you're just literally use the scripts as like a checkbox, right? It's just like, all right, I'm making sure that I don't miss this. Because if you get to the end of your review and you've spoken for, like, because what you might find is if you were to do a review off the cuff, you might speak for, say, 15 minutes, but those 15 minutes might not be as well formed as if you scripted it, because you might find that you've kind of doubled back and repeated something. You might have like spoken around a topic, but not quite in the way that you want to. So yeah, I'd literally just say that, if there's
if there's a way to script, it's just script like you, right? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to then suddenly find if you've got two different types of videos. Like for me, you can't normally tell much of a difference between the scripted videos and the non-scripted videos because I still speak the same way, right? If suddenly I put on like a news reporter voice for like my scripted videos and then just like chatty from other ones, it'd be like, this is a weird disconnect. So yeah, I just say write it the way you would and then just use it like that.
Yeah, I mean, even bare minimum, just an outline so that you can make sure you hit your points, and then you can still kind of talk off the cuff, But I know for me, if I do that, I'll end up repeating myself on certain things. So I'm more of a just write the whole thing out and. No,
I mean that's great, and also what you'll find as well. I mean, there's actually a time where probably in I think my second year of YouTube, I scripted everything, and the reason I did it is because I already speak quite fast, but back then I spoke really fast, and it was a wake up call for me. But strangely, a lot of like my American viewers couldn't understand me because I spoke too fast. And so I actually started. It was actually when I made the shift and I started working in Microsoft's London offices and I started working with the camera guys. I started to script stuff because by reading a script, I could slow myself down and I could pace myself better. And it just sort of like sounded a lot more natural than me just trying to like and just like get the words out and like run out of breath halfway through, and like breathe. So so it helped me out a lot. And then like, as I started to feel comfortable, I started to script a little bit less. And then like now I've started to bring it back in. And I mean, yeah, to your point of like bullet points, there's kind of like a quick and dirty script I might do. Like if I don't want to script the whole thing, but I also don't want to just go completely off the cuff, then I will sometimes just write bullet points. Like say for example, if there's been like a news update, I'll just quickly grab the bullet points and then I'll still talk randomly as long as I'm hitting them. But yeah, if I want to be super concise, like I did a Destiny lore video like a little while back, and I just wanted to make sure I got all the topics correct, so I just scripted the entire thing.
Very cool. I got to tell you from the chat, Alka-Seltzer-Tini says, this dude is awesome, by the way. So
thank you.
And Deathless Poet says, that really helps me a lot. Great advice. So this is
awesome. I'm glad.
This has been great, man. We're just about at that hour mark. And so I do want to shift it back to Nintendo real quick.
Cool.
You, I see Amiibo behind you. Which that 4-pack is glorious. I don't even know if they have it in the States. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know I got all 4 of them individually, but I like that 4-pack. It looks awesome. Do you have a large collection of Amiibo, or?
I wonder if it'll.
Oh, you got a couple, just
just a few. I collect all the Smash Brothers ones, pretty much. Yeah. I had to draw the line somewhere because they started just releasing like everything, and I was like, you know what? If I will go bankrupt if I buy all of these, so I only bought the Smash Brothers ones, the Zelda ones, and a few select odd ones here and there. So I definitely don't have them all, but I've got a decent collection.
Yeah. Okay. I have them all.
Really?
And they're not opened.
Oh wow! That's impressive.
Let me clarify. I haven't imported any, so I don't have any of the Monster Hunter ones, and I don't have the 2 Skylander ones. So
I do have the Monster Hunter ones.
But yeah, I may import them just because they look awesome. But I do want to hit our retro question here, and you picked up a SNES classic.
I did. Yes. Yeah.
What was the first game that you played when you hooked that thing up?
It was actually, well, technically speaking, it was just the first one in the list because I was doing a video on it, so I was just basically going through alphabetical order.
Yeah.
So not very, and I can't even remember what that is.
Right. Right.
But the first one that I actually wanted to play was Star Fox, just so I could unlock Star Fox 2.
Okay. What did you think of Star Fox 2 when you finally unlocked it?
I mean, it wasn't as great as I thought. So here's the thing, right? I was talking the other day about retro games. I love going back, but I always find that like if you go back to a game that you have played before, it's fine. You can play it as much as you want. If you never played that game before, it's hard to go back. So, for example, even though it's not like the most retro thing, I could go back now and play Ocarina of Time, despite the controls. Whereas if someone hadn't played Ocarina of Time, I probably wouldn't tell them to play it because they wouldn't appreciate it the same way that I did at the time, right? But I can go back and play it because I've got that connection. Whereas, for example, I have never played Final Fantasy VII, and I just can't do it. I can't go back and play it because it's just janky as hell for me. I'm like, I just can't, right? So I think in that respect, because I didn't play Star Fox 2 before, I just couldn't do it. I just sat there. I was driving into the wall, and I was like, I can't do this. So it was, yeah.
It makes total sense. Like I've totally seen that where people are like, you've never played this, you got to do it. There's some games that hold up. Certain games will hold up. They're fine. You can, other games are like, oof, if I got no nostalgia for this, there's like
exactly
nostalgia's like those rose tinted glasses that you have to have on to go back for certain games. So
100%.
Well, man, this has been a blast. Thank you so much for taking the time on your weekend.
Thank you for having me.
So this was a ton of fun. Everybody in chat, thank you for being here. We really, really appreciate it. Will you tell everybody all the places they can find you and your content?
Sure. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So you can find predominantly most of it is on youtube.com/ArekkzG. So that's AREKKZG. That's where most of the content goes up. There's Nintendo stuff, there's Destiny stuff, Monster Hunter stuff. Also 26 streams over on twitch.tv/269. So he's the one that like behind the scenes on the channel, but he does a lot of streaming 6 days a week. And you can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/Arekkz, just AREKKZ. And that's most of the places I'm at. I'm obviously on other things like Instagram and all that, but we'll keep it for those for now.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you guys, if you're ever at a con or any kind of event where you get the chance to meet this guy, make sure you do it. Like,
say hi, I'm not scary.
We got to talk for about 30 seconds at the Destiny 2 reveal. It was chaos there. Everybody was trying to give footage and everything like that. And so, yeah. Thanks again, man. This he's a super cool dude. Alka-Seltzer-Tini is absolutely right. He is awesome. So, guys, you're gonna find me on Twitter, Twitch, everything's N64Josh. This show is typically live. It's going to be live every Tuesday on twitch.tv/N64Josh at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Otherwise, you can watch it on my YouTube channel or just listen on any podcast provider. Podbean, iTunes, Google Play. If you have a second, if you're enjoying this show, if you could leave us a review on iTunes, it would be great. Helps keep us and get us into the top 200. So we kind of fluctuate in and out of there right now. So would like to kind of solidify a spot. So those reviews really help with that. And don't forget, if you want to get your free audiobook from Audible, it's audibletrial.com/NPC. The chair I'm sitting in, opseat.com, coupon code N64Josh. If you want to start your own podcast, it's podbean.com/NPC. So, Arekkz, thank you again. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And
it's been fun.
Yeah, we'll see you guys Tuesday. Take it easy.
See ya.